So we're just on our way to the FSL office, which is our employer's agent. We're first of all meeting with them and a mechanical and electrical consultant just to sort of help us with the heating situation we've got. So as I mentioned before, we're just deciding which heating strategy basically to go with on the project at Cambridge.
Well, obviously Nick has, I've spoken to Nick, I've worked with Nick of God knows how many times over the last 20 years or so.
Yeah.
And obviously he submitted a proposal.
Yeah.
So it's really about, let's talk about what you guys can do for us, Nick, and what we need really, I suppose, in some respects.
From my perspective, houses are as complicated as any M&E, to be honest with you, but you've got to set yourself up a scope, and you've got to set yourself up where you want to be in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And as you well know, the M&E quality within the pipes and wires, are the same.
Yeah.
But the stuff that you stick on the end of it makes a difference between a high price sale and a low price sale.
Yeah. So obviously it all comes down to
Money at the end of the day.
money is a big one. Locally, the spec for comparables is quite poor. I call it look like B&Q bathrooms and everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I know in order to achieve the prices, we don't have to go crazy.
I've done a lot of projects where we've used Rocker.
Okay.
And Rocker seems to be, because it's a Spanish, it's manufactured in Spain, people find it in the exotic type of sanitary ware, not like your standard contract sanitary ware that you can get from Dewson's.
Yeah.
But because it's got Rocker on it, it costs not very much more than, and if you're buying in bulk, you can actually buy it very competitively. So it's trying to make it look nice for the least money to get the best sale out of it.
We've got sites like Isleham, which is going to be we're going to play down the spec a bit, but we want to try and maximise the value.
They're affordable, so that's
because it's a different demographic, isn't it?
Yeah, so, and in the nicest possible, it'll be HA buying them, and
yes. So you
they don't care.
No, but they will have a standard.
Yeah, so then it's what goes into the other products basically.
Could you just send me an image and then say, look, this is sort of what I want?
Yeah, we might look to wire sort of like Cat5 cables around the house to be, whether or not they're used, but at least they're there to be pulled through if people,
well, people can extend their Wi-Fi. What about heating? Have you got any particular? Because
this is where we probably need to.
I can tell you, I think.
So one of the things the architect has said, look, all radiant panels are really good, but I know we've spoken about this.
No.
My
radiant panels don't work on air source heat pump. Yeah. Electric radiant panels are expensive to run. I think you'll lose sales by going through that. Traditional underfloor heating is probably the way to go. But it's how you...
would you go gas-fired or would you go air source for that?
I'm waiting for you to tell me.
My gut feel is we've got to get gas onto the site if we're going to go down gas route. If we go down, which is expensive, my gut feel is we go air source heat pump. Not sure about the affordable at the moment.
Yeah, go affordable. On the affordables, it's you get a 3 or 4 kilowatt air source heat pump for those. For a couple of £3,000.
Or what about all electric on the...
All electric.
Affordable?
Or you go all electric.
Well,
but then you were back to the radiant panels.
You've got an issue here, and I don't want to complicate things, but if you go all electric and the affordable, which is just panel radiators, then you're going to end up covering part of the roofs with PVs to get through the sap, or end up with walls this thick, and ceilings, insulation that thick.
Yeah. Whereas if you go air source,
air source heat pump, it ticks all your boxes.
You're ticking all the boxes.
See, there is a balance here. So if you put gas into these, then that's an unfriendly carbon supply. So you'll end up either going fabric first, which is expensive, and you lose your GIA, which means your rooms are smaller, which you don't want to do. And if you don't want to do that, then you are going to have to cover the roofs with PV. To offset the carbon from the gas. Whereas if you use an air source heat pump, it may cost you £3 or £4, which is a couple of grand more than your boiler, but you haven't put £2 worth of PV on the roof, which also looks not very pretty on your new estate. So I'm trying to lean you towards air source heat pump
And
because
we just say
it ticks a lot of boxes.
And for me, it's the conversation we've had before, and that I've had on other jobs. It's 1 kilowatt in, 3 out.
3.5.
Or 3.5 out.
The other thing is that because your electricity supply coming into your house, because you're going to have to put car chargers in now, because it's the rule.
Yeah.
You're going to have an oversized supply anyway, so you might as well have the oversized supply for the house that includes the air source heat pump.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of the affordable, I can't see there being any issue with the HA and an air source.
No, they'd love it.
They'd love it.
They'd love it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'd love it, yeah. Street lighting?
Yeah.
Are you doing it as an estate lighting?
It's going to be an adoptable road.
It's going to be an adoptable road?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that mean we have to have a certain level of light? Because I'd like to do, ideally, little bollards.
Can we achieve it with bollards?
No.
Not.
So you'd have to do full.
Yeah. If it's going to be adoptable. If it's non-adopted and you want to use it as an estate, you could have a landlord supply in a box and a time clock, and then the costs of the maintenance of that is split between the houses, like you would on a block of flats, basically, communal lighting. Then you could do what you wanted.
No, but we want
you're going to have somebody design the street lighting from the council or somebody like that.
Yeah. Well, we've got to go through the section 38 with the drainage, etc., and which will obviously wrap up the highway as well. We are at a situation where, with regards to the existing levels, the rear 4 houses, it looks like they're going to have a pumping chamber to get the waste off.
So you need a landlord supply for that then?
So we need a landlord supply for that anyway.
Well, why not? If you're going to have a landlord supply, why not do your own street lighting? It's be half the price of going to the council.
Yeah.
Well, and you'll still get it through.
You wouldn't get it to adoptable standards though, would you?
No.
It would be an unadopted road, but you could have your bollards rather than streetlights.
But do we not prefer to have an adopted road?
Yes, I think you probably would as a developer. You haven't got the responsibility of it then, have you?
Yeah. So
it will all come under a service charge agreement then with all the houses on the site. Which way would you prefer to go?
I prefer to keep it adopted.
Okay.
Possible.
So we're going to have a landlord supply for the pumping chamber anyway, but yeah, we can go to adoptable standard.
Yeah, I'd rather deal with the landlord supply for just 4 and keep it adopted.
That's fine.
I think it would be long term easier.
That's absolutely fine.
Okay. Alarms. Are you going to fit a burglar alarm? Are you going to wire it only?
I think we should fit a standard.
It's
at least
kind of the norm of the
at least a basic.
I think
it sort of is.
I think we're wired for CCTV.
And wire for CCTV.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in terms of progressing forward then,
I think I'll just do some drawing. I'll get some drawings out. I know what you want.
Yeah.
And then if it isn't what you want, you can scribble over it and we can change it and do it, because otherwise we can sit here and talk about it
exactly.
for hours and hours and hours, and I can put it down. I may still get some of it wrong. So if I lay it out as I would do these houses myself, because you're not recreating the wheel here, are you?
No.
Okay, and then I'll produce some drawings, and then I can issue them. You can pour over them and go, no, too many lights in there, don't like that. Put a sit,
Oh, lights in the master bedroom next to the bed.
Yes,
Control.
two-way switch.
Yeah.
So pretty standard stuff.
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
And the option, I always call it having the big light in the master bedroom and like the kitchen, sort of, whether or not it's 2 circuits or what, but one where you can have, I guess, like a lower level lighting and one being the big lights.
Yeah. Lights in wardrobes.
So whether or not we fit wardrobes as standard.
There's wardrobes shown on the drawing.
There are some wardrobes shown. I mean, for the cost of it, I would probably include it.
What, the wardrobes?
Yeah, a light in the wardrobe.
Yeah.
So it's
Definitely
going to be
light.
a small LED, isn't it, really?
Yes, it's £100 worth of lighting, really.
Yeah.
There's a PIR on it, so when you open the door, it just lights up.
Our actual units, where we've got alcoves, I've got 1, 2, 3. how do you think, that's probably more a question for me, do you provide fitted wardrobes as standard?
Probably, I wouldn't here, to be honest with you. I would leave a space. I don't think are you commanding that kind of a value out of the properties?
So then I'm thinking is typically if you have fitted wardrobes, they do the lighting with it because they'll they'll do a strip in the shafts. It's probably just wire to those points.
Wire point only.
Yeah, and then obviously we'll do a wardrobe package that people can have.
Absolutely. What sort of kitchens are you going for?
Good question.
This is kind of what we're going to be moving on to in a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just trying to get it the spec of kitchen.
How we normally do it is we set out the kitchen as we think it should be set out M&E wise, and then we put a note on the drawing that M&E contractor to coordinate with kitchen fitter, blah blah blah. The points are shown.
That
blah blah blah. Yeah. And then you're covered. Well, I priced it like that. Well, no, it says.
I mean, so in terms of timescales, then obviously, I don't know. Are you happy to proceed on this? I mean, we're looking for a performance spec, laid out on the drawings. Yeah,
we wouldn't do for these type of jobs. We wouldn't do one of our great big specs. No. Just puts all your contractors off. We do a spec sheet. So we do a full size drawings, and then we have a spec sheet which has all the M&E stuff on it. That covers you, covers me, covers everybody.
Yeah.
To make sure they know exactly what standard it is. We normally show the standard of light fitting.
Yeah.
So we show what the fitting looks like, and we put a model number down, which we all like, and we can touch and feel, and we like it. Or we also put all equal and approved. So if they come along and said, we've seen your light fitting and it's 25 quid, but we can get one that looks identical for £21. Then bring it to the table, let's have a look at it. If we like it, let's go for it. Let's say £4 fitting.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
You go with a camera and you can go, Nick, look at that. Do you think that's right?
Exactly.
There's no charge for that.
Yeah.
Right. The charge for me is to get
Good job that's videoed.
Charge for me is to go all the way down to site to look at something to tell you that it looks all right to me. You get away with it. So
the electrical contractor is going to have to certify his own work,
and so
and then it comes down to, is it in the right position?
Yeah.
Is it fixed properly?
Yeah.
I think we had to work that one out.
In terms of supplier of air source heat pumps, do you have any preferred suppliers?
There's loads of makes out there. Again, what we would do is we would put, because there's a lot of cheap Chinese lookalikes out there, and some that will last a couple of years and then fail. I'm going to touch wood in there somewhere. My air source heat pump is Dakin monoblock, and it's run now for 9 years without anything wrong with it.
Okay. Do you know, and it's probably something he's looking to, any grants or anything?
There aren't, I'm afraid.
No.
Car charges have to come off each individual house.
They do, yeah.
On the HA ones, is there any way of doing dual ones there?
The only thing you could do is you could talk to building control and say, is it a requirement on the social housing because of the demographic? Do we have to put car charges on?
Yeah, well, that's the question.
That's the option, isn't it?
Talk to building
control.
control.
The ones on the main houses will just go individual.
They'd be inside or outside the garage, won't they? That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll just have a conversation around the affordable. Perfect.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we've just finished the meeting with the M&E consultants, so they're probably going to be appointed to do our full mechanical and electrical spec, which does cover the heating. So we're going to go with air source heat pumps on the site, but it will also cover things like the plumbing strategy, the whole lighting. Cabling across the site, so they'll do lighting plans, electrical plans, everything, so that will all then form part of the tender pack. So we're just having discussions then around what sort of things were going into the project, i.e. is there CCTV cabling, what sort of lighting systems do we want, just those sort of initial conversations, and then now we'll have a further chat with Phil around the detailed sort of interface specs, so kitchens, what bathrooms and things. So lots of decisions to be made.
So I've now got fee flow for everybody in here. I've put figures in for Greenways on the presumption that you would get. I knew you would be happy with it because he does a good job. I've also put a 20k sum in for the archaeological. We still can't get anything out of Headland until we've got the brief. So I'm chasing Matt to be chasing the local authority to get that brief. They said this week, didn't they? Yeah. So hopefully sometime this week we'll get the brief and we can get Headland to price it.
Stuff ain't cheap, is it?
No, it's not. I've started to update the programme because I'm mindful that it's the original dates that we set, which were based on the dates that 4 architects said they could achieve.
Yeah, we've also had this archaeological thing, and
we haven't factored the archaeological in at the moment, but we haven't met any of the dates so far. So this is a draft on the assumption that we're going to get planning at some point. But I'm looking also at what do we need then for procurement. So just need the constraints plan. I've done a draft.
I saw that go out.
We just need that marking up on a drawing. We need the final structural drawings from Brennan, and the big issue at the moment it comes down to the site investigation.
Yeah. When do we think that's going to happen?
Well, Colin and his team have been chasing Ian Farmer, and they've been promising and not delivering. So he's now gone somewhere else.
I was about to say the brief's changed, so let's just go out somewhere else and re-tender.
So he's gone somewhere else. It's a company they use all the time. He said they're literally getting a survey off them every week. They're 1,500 quid more, and I'm like, well, if they're going to be on site in 2 weeks' time, that it doesn't matter. So he's talking to them now, and hopefully they're going to be confirming that they can get on site next week or the week after. So we're looking at it's trouble is it's trying to gauge it as to do we go out. We could go out to tender without some of the information, but it's not ideal.
I think we're going to have to go to tender without the archaeological stuff back in. And just assume.
That's exactly effectively what I'm saying. We'll get the archaeological survey, and we'll just have to negotiate that when we get that back. This document has got everything in that we've prepared, so we're ready to go to tender. The contract sub analysis is all done. We are waiting for the final structural drawings, so I've got a small allowance in of 5 days to just update that schedule.
So within the current cost plan we've done, what in terms of M&E, heating, things like that, what's been allowed for, what hasn't been allowed for?
Basically everything we've spoken about has been included within there. So it's literally a case of all we need is the design, that goes out to tender, and it should in theory be all within the figures that we've
So have we already allowed for air source?
Yeah.
Okay. What in terms of spec, what's been assumed, if anything?
Mid-range spec. So, but I haven't got any issues with what we've discussed today.
And you think that would fall within?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be really comfortable with that, based on the figures that we've put forward.
That's what I like to hear.
Really comfortable with that. I've got an allowance then for, obviously the pre-construction information needs the final structural drawings, the constraints plan, the final designs, just to top and tail that. Likewise, the schedule of works, contracts and analysis, so I've got a small period in which to tweak that. And then so we're talking about March going out to tender, based on the schedule of work for a 6-week period. By which time then we should hopefully have the site investigation back, which means that can go out as an addendum if there's anything, and then the archaeological hopefully will fit somewhere between pretty much there and there.
Depending on how quickly they can turn it around and get it started.
Exactly, So if we can get it back within the tender period, at least if there's anything comes of it, we can get it straight out to the contractors. Which would then mean we are looking at awarding the contracts in May.
Okay.
I can't see
it tightening up much more than that, to be honest.
No.
Which, is what it is.
I will say we'll do 2 walls full tile.
2 walls full tile. 2 walls half in master en suites. And then rest of the bathrooms only full where absolutely necessary. At this stage, assume standard size tiles, standard tile pattern lay, so no herringbone, no
nothing fancy. And there could be a tiling package upgrade that you can.
But for ease, I'm thinking just standard.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Okay, and then carpet. Rest of the area.
That's fine.
Stairs. What spec are we thinking on the stairs? It's going to be carpet, treads and risers.
It's going to be carpet, treads and risers, just a standard timber staircase, really. Unless you want something else. I mean, that's what we could go a little bit more if you want to. But if you're going to carpet it.
But what about like
a balustrade?
Balustrades, mills. What do you think within the cost plan? would you view?
I think we can accommodate most things. So you could go for a glass balustrade if you wanted within the cost plan that we've got.
Yeah. If
it
possible,
would certainly add the value.
It's something that just looks. It's sort of like.
It's not 70s. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like people do just really like it. If that makes sense. So again, using my dad's as an example, that's my house. My dad's. It's oak bull nose. Yeah. Just because I think for cleaning it's better.
Absolutely.
Because I don't like a mop going into a carpet. Oak, and then it will be that doesn't have the glass in it at that stage, but it did have glass. Yeah. Eventually. And that's porcelain as a tile on the floor.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fine. Yeah. So what we could do is within the spec document we can incorporate images of that.
Yeah.
That show exactly what it is with the intent.
Yeah. Just because I know these sold for a really similar price per square foot.
Yeah.
They're really well received.
I suppose we can specify, the NEF equipment.
Yeah.
Is it a double oven, single oven? If we've got that layout that we can send out and say.
I think I'll get kitchen layouts to send with it, including, hob, just so we know what's going into each kitchen.
I mean, you've got to be happy with what's going in because you'll know what will sell.
Exactly.
And if we leave it to a contractor, they may leave it till the last minute and say, well, this is the kitchen you're going to get. And if
I'd rather design it now and again say, look, here's a price from whoever. Yeah. You don't have to use them. You can use them if you want.
But this is what
we want in terms of handleless, quartz, whatever.
Yeah. That would be the best way because that's nailing exactly what it is you're trying to deliver. Yeah. It still gives us the opportunity to go equal and approved. So if the contractor wants to come up with something else, as long as you get the benefit of the saving, then
okay. Yeah, the biggest things that I will insist on is the tack on the bush plate because that's the things that you touch that people come in and play with, and as long as they feel quality.
That is absolute push plate for it. Absolutely.
I hate like a tinny feeling push plate.
Exactly. If it feels plastic and it's going to break. No, absolutely. So these 4 houses here, because of the levels, we're having to increase all of these by up to about 500 mil to get the gravity fed to work. It reaches a point around here where it doesn't. So we're going to have a private pumping chamber. If you wanted to, we could keep the levels the same and go for a public and adopted pumping chamber, but you'll have to have the chambers around here with a lay-by and just not
Sounds
worth
complicated.
it. It's complicated, it's expensive. By having your own pumping chamber somewhere around here, everything feeds into it, pumps up and down, into the gravity fed and off-site. Yeah,
do that.
So these 4 houses will then have a service charge for the maintenance of that.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's kind of where we're at with it. So
the adopted road ends here, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So effectively, the adopted road is this.
Yeah.
So that realistically, that might be somewhere located. Well, I don't know, wherever. I'm not sure where they're looking at where the best place to put it at the moment is. So that's kind of the update from the levels point of view. So that's come from the topo.
This surface, what we suggesting this as?
Well, it's down. The drives are down as tarmac, but I think we'd probably try and get onto a block pave if we can.
If costing allows, I would probably want either resin or block pave.
Yeah.
At least not for the affordable tarmac. That's not all being block pave.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, so it's all down as tarmac for now.
Yeah. I'd like to try and get it all as block pave.
Yeah.
Also, for cost saving, I know it's not shown on the drawing here, but why don't we move that footpath next to the drive so there's not.
Absolutely.
If I just got an extra run of border tiles, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just merge them together.
That would just
get rid of that. To either make it bigger or move that over. Yeah. Probably move it over.
it would make sense to move. I suppose what they're coming from is if you're effectively walking up here, that footpath is in line with the front door then, isn't it? But it's not that far off, to be honest with you, is it? Because if I was coming to this house, I'd probably walk across the drive anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So all of these, we'll get these aligned.
Yeah, just saves a little bit of money there, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, it's annoying having to cut a little bit of grass.
Exactly, yeah.
And if, depending, as a compromise, have that as block pave, and then these ones coming in as block pave, like border.
A border with a tarmac, yeah.
With a tarmac.
Yeah, but that's something we can deal with. Let's get we get the tender prices in based on what we want.
And then
if we then have to pare it back, you know, that's one area we can do that.
Turfed or seeded?
Depends on the season. I mean,
cross that bridge when we get there.
We'll cross that bridge. The problem you get is the watering. If you turf it, you've got to be constantly watering it during the, you know, and if you're catching it in sort of the summer season,
we will be.
Which we will be.
Might be a bit
it's
dry.
a cost. It'll be dry.
Okay.
You're going to have a similar problem with seeding, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because that still has to be maintained in terms of watering.
Okay, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Fencing, I'm just saying standard fencing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd go 6 foot fence. You could go higher if you wanted, but I would just go 6 foot fence panel. And then in terms of the patio, just a relative, not a grey concrete, but something a bit more, you know, better than that for the patio area.
These two walls here.
Yeah.
I'd probably do a brick wall on those two, because easy.
Yeah.
Just because I think it'd look better.
Yeah.
Again, probably got an example of. I'm copying my dad's site here.
Well, as Nick said earlier, if it's not broken.
Yeah, I've got a photo.
It's fine.
You can't fully see, but that was what was done on the edge of. Oh no, that's the front plot. Wait. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So it just looks better. Rather than that would be just a wooden fence otherwise.
What's that? 2 metre high, something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Or even half height with
a fence panel on top.
With a fence panel on top, but just something so that when you round that corner, otherwise it's going to be like wood. It might look a bit like higgledy-piggledy with just wood.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
The different directions.
So take that line there.
Yeah, so it'd come off probably the corner of.
You'd probably put a gate in there, wouldn't you? So you start it there with a gate.
Yeah.
And a brick wall.
Yeah.
And then here you do the same, so you go brick wall there with potentially a gate. You'd probably run up to there, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You might run that a bit further as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd either join directly onto the house or have a gate, depending exactly what works. But either way, because you've got the side access.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Don't think there's anything else really. So they're on with the finalising all of the highways, etc., to adoptable standards. And these are obviously all the preliminary drawings. So we just need to get the SIs to confirm CBRs, etc., for the road construction. But that's really going to affect the new base course anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're almost there. Finally. Seems to be taking a name. I think we've just got some standard details.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start to pull together like a spec document then that wraps all this up into the various areas. So it's almost like an extra over to this. I will feed back the walls, etc., to the design team so that they can start to update their drawings accordingly. Because obviously we'll need a foundation for the walls.
Yeah.
But that's nothing really.
I'll go to kitchen suppliers and sanitary suppliers. If you could give me what current budget you've got in the cost plan for those things, basically excluding the affordable.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll confirm all that.
Yeah.
So what else have we got? Architect layouts, including trusses. So we've got the truss designs come through, slightly more than the budget we had in the cost plan, but then we didn't have the attic trusses in the cost plan, so there is an offset there anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it works better with the attic trusses. LADs and warranties. Do we know whether the funders need a warranty?
No, because we still haven't gone back to funding.
Yeah.
Because we're waiting for the archaeological cost.
Yes.
Put it all in, until I can bottom out the appraisal properly, I can't go back to funding.
To be honest with you, that is not an issue to me.
It's
That is something that we can do as an addendum to the
Yeah.
tender. LADs, better to get it out there straight away.
I should, hopefully, if we can get the archaeological stuff in, as in what we think the cost will be pretty soon, I should, within a week or so, 10 days of that, I should know my warrant.
I think we've still got time because we're obviously still waiting for the electrical layouts.
Yeah.
So as soon as
So I should be able to have that.
Plumbing and electrical stuff we've discussed. I've made a note. Do we go provisional sums for kitchens, bathrooms, ensuite? Well, we've sorted that. That's not a problem. Site investigation I've updated you on, and archaeological we're still waiting on. So yeah, that's Isleham almost there to ready to go now. And as I said at the last meeting, I don't want to change it from here.
No.
This has got to be it because this site's costing you money now. Yeah. And we need to get on site quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's get on site as quick as possible.
Yes, please. Okay.
Excellent. Anything else you want to go through?
No, I think that's it from me. I need to go see some kitchen supplies now. So I'm just wrapping up for the day. I'm about to send the floor plans to a few different kitchen designers to get some kitchen designs back in. So having a bit of a flick through one of the brochures now for a bit of inspiration. But overall, the heating plan is sorted. Pretty much the whole tender pack is ready. We're just getting the fine details. I've had some pricing in from one of the tile suppliers, the one that I went to the other day, and it all comes in basically below the budget we've allocated. So yeah, the tender pack and tender process is getting close to being ready to go out to contractors now, which means we're one step closer to actually being on site. Next week I'm on site at least once on the Wednesday to monitor the intrusive ground test happening and the CVR testing for the adopted road, and I might also be on site on Friday to monitor the soakaways, but either way I'll see you guys in the next video.